The atrium of Valari Prime Interstellar Academy hummed with distant conversations, the kind that buzzed just beneath the surface, nervous, expectant. Kara Lynn sat alone at the edge of the hovering amphitheater's fountain, knees tucked, reading from a translucent data sheet. The liquid behind her didn't flow, it levitated in gentle spirals, responding to gravity pulses and mood sensors embedded in the stone. She barely noticed. The alien sky shimmered above her, purple clouds slicing across twin suns. Beautiful, sure. But beauty didn't mean welcome. She wasn't supposed to be here. Only 3 humans had ever been accepted into the academy. 1 dropped out. The second stayed invisible. And then there was Kara, neither invisible nor submissive. That made her interesting, and in a place like this, interesting was dangerous. A shadow passed over her screen. Kara didn't look up. "You hear poorly, Earthgirl," said a voice that thudded like boots on steel. "When Valari speak, you stand." She sighed and flicked her screen off. Her eyes rose slowly to meet the speaker. 7 feet tall, deep crimson skin, armored plates layered like stone. Zargok Drail. Son of the Supreme Blood General of Valari Sector 9. Proud, cruel, and very used to fear. "I hear just fine," Kara replied, blinking. "I just don't obey bullies." Gasps rippled through the surrounding students, an audience she hadn't noticed forming. Zargok's 3 companions stepped forward, their faces painted in ceremonial silver. But none dared touch her. He did. With a sneer curling the corner of his mandible, Zargok reached down and clamped a clawed hand around her forearm. It wasn't a hold. It was ownership. "You are on Valari ground," he growled. "You do not speak to me with your mouth open unless I allow." Kara moved. Later, cameras would reveal it took less than half a second. Her right foot pivoted. Left arm rolled beneath his grip. Her body turned in a coil, then snapped. She locked his wrist, twisted it upward, and pulled his arm across his centerline with surgical precision. Then, she dropped her weight and snapped her elbow into the joint. The crack echoed through the amphitheater like a gunshot. Zargok screamed, a sound so alien and raw it silenced the crowd entirely. He fell backward, clutching his broken arm, writhing. Kara stood, brushing off her pants. "Don't grab people," she said, her voice flat. "It's rude." Alarms blared a moment later. Security drones dropped from the ceiling like birds of prey. Students scrambled backward. 2 administrators appeared from behind the second-tier corridor, one gliding on a hover chair, the other sprinting. Zargok moaned through clenched fangs, blood seeping between his fingers, luminescent, yellow-blue. Dean Shavit barked in Valari dialect, then switched to Intergalactic Common. "No one moves." "Kara Lynn, stand down." "I'm standing," Kara said. "Haven't moved in 10 seconds. The drone above her clicked its lens, then scanned her entire frame. Force threshold measured. Response class, level 1. No excessive brutality detected, it announced coldly. Dean Shavit's eyes narrowed. "You attacked a Valari noble." "I responded to an assault." "Are you accusing Zargok Drail of unprovoked aggression?" Kara tilted her head. "There's 17 cameras around this square. You tell me." The silence that followed was thick. The kind that crushed breath. Students from 12 species stood frozen, waiting not just for the verdict, but the precedent. Humans were new. Fragile. Replaceable. And Kara had just shattered the elbow of a Valari general's heir in full view of a dozen interstellar academies. 2 drone medics lowered and began treating Zargok with cooling serum. His screams had stopped. He was staring at her now, eyes wide, not with pain, but disbelief. She hadn't flinched. Dean Shavit turned to her, voice like thunder. "You will come with us for review." Kara nodded. "Of course." The crowd parted as she walked. No cheers. No jeers. Just stunned silence, as if the moment hadn't settled into their brains yet. But the story had already started to spread. By the time she reached the upper corridors, the Academy's internal net had begun pinging alerts. Every screen in the hall lit up with the words, "Incident, human cadet engaged Valari elite." Behind her, someone whispered, "Did you see how fast she moved?" Another, "She didn't even raise her voice." In the review chamber, Kara sat still. Her pulse had already calmed. Across the room sat 3 tribunal officers, 1 human ambassador, 2 aliens of unknown origin. They didn't look pleased. "Miss Lin," said the human, a tired-looking man with graying temples. "What training qualified you to perform that lock?" "Human Defense Protocol. Level 2 clearance. Certified by Earth Defense Coalition's Civil Response Unit." "You understand what you've done?" "Yes," Kara said. "I defended myself against unauthorized physical contact from a hostile party." The Valari officer slammed his tentacle down. "He touched you. He didn't strike you." Kara didn't blink. "I don't wait for punches. That's the difference between Earth and here, I guess." Silence again. Eventually, the tribunal called recess. Kara leaned back. She wasn't worried, not yet. She hadn't used unnecessary force. No claws, no weapons, no lingering damage apart from a clean break. Even their medical staff would repair it in hours. But she knew what had cracked wasn't just Zargok's elbow. It was the illusion. The belief that humans were fragile. Disposable. She glanced out the chamber window, toward the artificial sky, and the starlines beyond it. She could feel something shifting. Maybe it was just in the room. Or maybe it was across the galaxy. Because everyone saw it. Everyone heard him scream. And everyone saw her stand afterward, completely still. Just human. By the time Kara returned to her quarters, the footage had already escaped the firewalls. 17 angles. 1 motion. 1 scream. Every cadet with a datapad was watching it on loop. Some with awe, others with discomfort. But none with indifference. Kara sat at her desk, the Academy's statement blinking on her wall screen. Human Cadet Kara Lin has been placed under temporary review following a physical altercation with Valari Air Zargok Trail. A disciplinary hearing is scheduled for dawn cycle. Beneath that, the comments streamed in. She didn't even hesitate. Is this what humans are capable of? That snap. I felt it in my spine. Valari honor is insulted. This cannot stand. Kara powered it down. She wasn't interested in the drama. Not now. Her hands were steady. Her breathing calm. But she knew the room was shrinking, figuratively, diplomatically, politically. Her calm beeped. "Come in," she said. The door hissed open. Adrian Brooks stepped in, Earth's junior ambassador. Late 20s, nervous, perpetually adjusting his cuffs. "Kara," he began, voice lowered, "we've got a problem." "I assumed. Zargok's father is on a warpath. He's already filed formal charges. Not just against you, against the entire human program." Kara leaned back. Because his son grabbed someone and got his arm broken in return? Adrian didn't answer that. Instead, he handed her a small orb. It shimmered, then displayed a flickering hologram of Earth's global news feeds. Every major network was covering it. Valari Air injured by human cadet, Earth responds with silence. Is this the end of interstellar cooperation? Hashtag never grab an Earth girl trends across Marsnet. One clip showed her moment of action. Slowed, analyzed, diagrammed. Commentators were arguing whether her move was instinct or training. The galaxy was watching. Public sentiment's on your side, Adrian said, trying to sound optimistic. But the Concord Tribunal doesn't care about hashtags. If they rule against you, Earth's entire scholarship presence could be suspended. Decades of diplomacy, gone. Kara turned to him. And if I apologize? Adrian winced. They'll see it as weakness. And still remove you. So, she said, damned if I do, silenced if I don't. His silence was answer enough. She stood. Let them come. The hearing was held in the central sanctum, a vast chamber ringed by tiers of floating judges from 9 core species. Lights dimmed. Tension buzzed like electricity. Kara stood alone on a raised platform, arms at her sides. Zargok entered flanked by medics. His arm was wrapped in golden mesh, accelerated healing fabric. He didn't look at her. The presiding arbiter, a Cerithian with crystalline limbs, spoke in chords that translated automatically. Cadet Kara Lynn. Do you admit to injuring Zargok Drail with intent? I acted in self-defense. His grip left bruising. My response was precise and controlled. Zargok Drail, did you intend harm to Cadet Lynn? He sneered. I touched her to remind her of her station. The chamber reacted. Small murmurs. A few raised brows. And what station is that? The arbiter asked. Zargok faltered. She's a human. A pet species, barely invited to the Concord. A silence descended like cold ash. Kara stepped forward. That's the core of it, isn't it? You don't see me as your equal, so you thought your rules didn't apply. Your strength was dishonorable, he barked. My restraint was the honor, she replied. She paused. Then added, if I'd reacted with violence, you wouldn't be standing here. I was trained not just to respond, but to choose how. That line lingered. The Cerithian adjusted its tone. We have reviewed footage. Cadet Lynn's action was defensive, proportional, and demonstrated no intent to escalate. However, cultural sensitivity was breached. This is noted. Adrian, seated off-stage, let out a breath. A small win. But the arbiter wasn't finished. Let it be known, the Academy must evolve. The era of physical hierarchy is ending. Zargok Drail will be placed on temporary probation for abuse of cultural privilege. The chamber rippled with energy. Kara blinked, unsure she'd heard correctly. Not only was she cleared, he was being reprimanded. She met Zargok's gaze. He didn't speak. He just turned away and left. Later that night, Kara found herself in the observation deck, staring out into stars too numerous to name. Lights shimmered on her skin, cold and silent. You started something, said a voice behind her. It was Tali, an insectoid scholar from the quarry cluster. Tall, segmented, soft-voiced. Didn't mean to, Kara replied. No one ever does, Tali said. But the moment is larger than you now. Half the cadets are watching Earth's combat footage. Some say you're dangerous. Others call you a symbol. I'm just a girl who didn't like being grabbed. And yet, Tali said, tapping the glass, the Academy will never be the same. Kara didn't answer. Her mother's voice echoed in memory. You don't win by fighting. You win by making sure they think twice next time. Tomorrow would be different. The stares. The distance. The whispers. But one thing would be certain now. No one would ever underestimate a human again. And Kara Lynn had made sure of it with one clean break. The tribunal chamber was quieter than usual. Not silent, never that, but hushed in a way that meant everyone understood something important was about to happen. Kara stood behind the defense lectern, shoulders squared, jaw relaxed. No fear. No arrogance. Just presence. To her left, the human delegation sat rigid. Adrian Brooks' face was pale under the low blue light. He gave her a quick nod, uncertain if it meant good luck or we're already screwed. To her right, the Valari Prime Minister herself stood with Zargok's father, General Drail, towering beside her. His armor shimmered faintly, not ceremonial. Battle grade. Symbolic, maybe. Maybe not. Proceed, said the arbiter, crystalline voice clear and neutral. The Valari minister spoke first. This incident has eroded decades of progress. We welcomed humans into the Concord to observe, not to fracture discipline. Kara raised her hand. Permission to respond. The arbiter nodded. I was assaulted. I reacted with restraint, not aggression. If the Concord is shaken by that, maybe it was never steady. A murmur flickered through the gallery. General Drayle leaned forward. Your kind knows nothing of discipline. No, Kara said calmly. But we understand consequences. He grinned with teeth like polished bone. My son's honor was challenged in front of 6 species. We are a warrior race. Do you know what that means, human? I know that when your son grabbed my arm, it was an honor. It was arrogance. The words landed with precision. Clean. Controlled. The tribunal didn't interrupt. Let us be clear, Kara continued. Earth trains its youth to think before striking. You train yours to dominate before speaking. That's not strength. That's fear disguised as tradition. This time, there was no murmur. Just silence. Unbroken. Until the arbiter shifted its prism body and said, we have reviewed behavioral logs, sensor data, and network responses. There is no evidence of intent to escalate hostilities by Cadet Lin. In contrast, Cadet Drayle's conduct violated Concord ethics, Article 7, non-coercive engagement. General Drayle's hands tightened around the edge of the railing. Then the arbiter said what no one expected. In light of evolving species integration, and due to Cadet Lin's extraordinary conduct under stress, the Concord proposes the elevation of human cadet status from observer class to full interspecies parity. Effective immediately. A pause. Then uproar. Some delegates clapped. Others protested in shrill tones. One dissolved into light and vanished altogether. Kara stood still. Adrian exhaled hard, like he'd been holding his breath for hours. He turned to the Valari minister. Well? Are you going to object? She didn't. She just stared at Kara with something that looked like curiosity layered over contempt. Or maybe the other way around. General Drayle left without speaking. His son had already vanished from public view, rehab, exile, disgrace. No one knew. No one asked. As the chamber cleared, a senior delegate from the Arcsani species approached Kara, a being of liquid silver, voice like whispering water. You did not shatter the system, it said. You reminded it that it was fragile. Kara bowed her head. Thank you. You will be remembered, the Arcsani added. Even if the galaxy pretends to forget. Later, in a smaller chamber, Kara stood before a polished stone wall. Her name had been added to the Honor Guard candidacy list, the first human in the program. Ambassador Rinyao, Earth's senior diplomat, joined her quietly. You know what you've done? He asked. She shrugged. Changed the conversation. You did more than that, Rin said. You gave Earth leverage. That's rare. Most species get laughed out of these halls for centuries. You got us a seat at the table. And all you did was break one arm. Kara smiled faintly. He grabbed first. Exactly. And you taught the galaxy something it's been trying not to learn. She turned toward him. That we're not soft? That we're measured, Rin said. That we don't need fleets to be taken seriously. Just one calm girl who doesn't back down. That evening, Kara returned to the cadet quarters. Students who once whispered now stepped aside with respect. Not fear, though some flinched when she passed, but recognition. Her presence had shifted. She wasn't just the human. She was that human. In the mess hall, Tali the quarry student joined her. You should know, Tali said, the Valari have begun rewriting their combat doctrine. Because of one arm? Because of the idea, Tali corrected. You fought like a diplomat. But they bled like warriors. Kara stirred her drink. I didn't want to become a symbol. Symbols don't get to choose, Tali said. They sat in silence after that. Just 2 cadets. One from Earth. One from the stars. And both understanding that everything had changed, not with war, but with choice. Kara later stood alone under the artificial sky dome, stars projected across it, so vivid they looked real. Her comm buzzed. A message. From Zargok Drail. Subject, no subject. Message. You humiliated me. But you didn't gloat. That's strength. I see that now. X. Kara stared at the screen, unreadable. Then deleted the message. Not from anger. Not from pride. But because she didn't need it. She knew what she was now. A reminder. A warning. And maybe, just maybe, a beginning. They called it Protocol in. No banners. No announcements. It slipped into the Academy's combat doctrine quietly, just a clause buried beneath tactical restraint policies. Engagement with Terran-class species must factor reflexive defense capabilities at close range. It didn't mention Kara by name. But everyone knew. 3 weeks had passed since the tribunal. The Academy moved forward, on paper at least. But underneath, the foundation shifted, quiet tremors changing how other species walked, spoke, trained. And how they looked at humans. Especially her. You're being reassigned. The words came from Dean Shavieti, clipped and formal. His translucent robe flickered faintly with kinetic feedback, his alien features unreadable. Kara didn't flinch. Why? Because your presence disrupts cohesion. Half the cadets worship you. The rest avoid sparring sessions entirely. I didn't ask for either. He nodded once. But you earned both. Kara folded her arms. Where am I going? Outer Ring. Deep Simulation Division. You'll train with multi-species units. Higher-level scenarios. Unfiltered aggression. No spectators. Punishment? Shavieti blinked. Test. The outer ring of the Academy wasn't built for comfort. The air tasted of copper and cold steel. Simulations ran on full realism, pain, pressure, fatigue. There were no instructors, just objectives. Kara entered her first trial with a squad of 4 alien cadets. None spoke to her. Not out of disrespect. Out of caution. The scenario, hostage extraction on a collapsing moon facility. Limited visibility. Biochemical hazards. No respawns. They moved in silence through dark tunnels, scanning for hostiles. When a shriek echoed down the passage, the team froze. Then Kara moved. She flanked left, signaled right, set her sights, and dropped the threat before it finished its second scream. Not one wasted motion. Later, back at the barracks, her quarry teammate spoke for the first time. You are efficient. Kara shrugged. I like clean exits. The quarry tilted its head. They say humans panic. Some do, she said. I just don't make a habit of it. That night, the quarry filed a private commendation. Not for Kara's combat. For her command. The Academy noticed. Weeks passed. Kara climbed ranks not through favor, but through action. She completed 32 simulations, failed none. When leadership rotated, she was asked to lead. She didn't accept immediately. I don't need a title, she told them. You already have one, the commander replied. The others just want it on paper. Her command class was diverse, Valari, Quarry, Oren, and a Terran from Brazil who'd arrived 2 cycles after her tribunal. I watched your hearing live, the new recruit said. My little sister memorized your speech. Kara stared at her. That's not something to memorize. It was just honesty. Exactly. The real shift came during a joint training operation with the Valari military elite. Kara's unit was inserted alongside Zargok's former squad, now led by a new cadet with something to prove. Halfway through the exercise, comms failed. Then the blizzard struck. Whiteout conditions. Oxygen drop. One by one, units disappeared from the radar. Kara ordered a halt, then rewired the relay beacon by hand. No instructions. No approval. Just necessity. She broadcast on all channels. This is Cadet Carolyn. If you can hear this, form up on the ridge coordinates 12.90 by 43.12. We have heat. We have cover. Move. 15 cadets followed her voice. 3 hours later, the Valari instructor commended her in front of all ranks. Not with words. With a salute. The galaxy took note again. In her quarters that night, Kara received a secure transmission. No name. Just a seal, Concord Intelligence. She tapped it open. A woman appeared, mid-40s, Terran uniform. Cadet Lynn, the voice began. Your conduct has triggered a flag in our diplomatic command channels. Earth is preparing to launch its first permanent delegation in the High Council. They want you to be the face. Kara blinked. A student? A symbol. I didn't ask for that. Symbols rarely do. She hesitated. Why me? Because you're not here to be liked. You're here because you make people rethink the rules. The message ended. She declined. Not out of fear. But because she hadn't finished writing the new rules yet. 3 months into her reassignment, the Academy held a closed summit. Cross-species delegates, combat instructors, policy architects. She was asked to speak. Kara stepped onto the dais with no notes, no suit, no polished translation software. Just her voice. I'm not a diplomat, she said. I'm not here to inspire you. I'm here because one moment, one reflex, made you realize humans aren't fragile. We're deliberate. That's not strength. That's decision. The hall was silent. She continued. Zargok didn't lose because I was stronger. He lost because he thought I wouldn't do anything. And that assumption is what made him weak. She paused. Then finished, if we're going to share this galaxy, stop asking who's strongest. Start asking who chooses to be fair even when they don't have to be. When she walked off stage, a Cerithian delegate rose from its hovering chair and extended a crystal to her. No words. Just a gesture. Respect. Back in her quarters, Kara sat on her bunk. The stars beyond the dome didn't look any closer. The galaxy was still loud, messy, judgmental. But now, it listened. And when it spoke of humans, it used her name. Not as a threat. Not as a warning. As a lesson. Because Carolyn hadn't just defended herself. She'd changed the way the galaxy measured power. One broken arm at a time.